What is up, everybody? Thank you for joining us for our first ever episode of SHOWMEZ. We are live for the very first time ever. We're dipping our toes into the live game just a little bit. We've never done this before. As you know, we specialize in post-production, but here we are just giving it a shot. So bear with us. We're really excited to have all of you joining us. And speaking of, I will be now joined by BigSexy, a.k.a. Nate Sexton and Jeremy Colling. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up?
How's it going? How have things been going for you?
Man, it's good. It's a little boring, but it's good. We're here in Washington, getting it all done. And this is live, right? So we need to be a little careful. This is new.
Yeah. It said 60% of BigSexy. That's not okay. I weigh a lot more than Nate does. If anything, I'm 65 to 70% of BigSexy. I resent that. That is not cool.
I'm not in charge of the graphics. I'm not sure who did that. In fact, I think I asked you guys to send your own graphic titles over, so that must have been Nate that
I missed that. I missed that entirely.
But yeah, man, we're fantastic. Just riding out. I'm just wife is working like crazy, Bree, and me and Coraline just hanging out. What are you doing, Germ?
Same. Jules is actually working from home, and that's given us a lot of time to just be together and enjoy this beautiful weather. Charlotte has just been immaculate. Every day it's been around 75 to 80, sunny. Just been walking the dog and just really taking it easy. It's been really nice. What about you down there in San Angelo? How's it going down there with you, Jonathan?
Oh, well, yeah, out here in West Texas, me and Jerry and Michael, we're all out here just kind of hunkering down and doing what we can to stay healthy, but also try to stay sane. So we've been working through this live format show. This has probably been taking at least a week of our time, really working through all the kinks. Oh, nice little product placement there, Jerm. That's pretty sweet.
What?
Yeah, working through the kinks of our first ever live production. So it's been really interesting. We've been learning a lot and just kind of learning the ropes of something that so real quick, I want to give props to our guys Terry Miller and Johnny V, who just kill it on the live every week, whether it's their podcast or the live productions of disc golf coverage. So it's certainly we're just barely dipping our toes in, and I can't even believe how much work it's been. So yeah, between that and the the April Fool's thing we fooled a lot of people with the Follow Fly app promo. That was a lot of fun, but I guess I can't say that I expected as many people to get upset that we had to turn it around on them and say that it wasn't real. We've had a lot of people that were really hoping that it was, and as much as I hoped that it would be real, it was just, unfortunately, the technology's not quite there, but we'll try to get there as soon as we can. Yeah, but you know how April Fool's jokes go.
Well, that's exactly what you want from an April Fool's joke. I don't understand anybody disappointment, that's fine, but that's what we were going for. We wanted to be a little disappointed because it would have been the coolest app ever. But yeah, I got a little April Fool's joke in too, man. I'm a friend of the show, Thomas Gilbert. He texted me early in the morning with that screenshot of me being rated 1050 and my career earnings being $1.2 million. It fooled me for probably enough time for me to open Safari on my phone and be like, what? And then I was like, and then I realized what was going on. But I posted that up and got some people. I think I got the big man for a little bit.
Yeah, you got me until we talked about it hours and hours later, and I didn't get on there and see that it was fake. You told me, and I felt like an idiot at that point.
I noticed a funny thing that I just kind of want to tell everybody, really, but in the comments on that April Fool's joke, April Fool's really, I think, is we're talking about a noon and earlier type holiday, because you're going to try your best to remember maybe that's coming up the next day, but you're going to forget. So those first people coming in making these comments, oh, funny, how you got me. But the guy that I got a problem with is 4 p.m. April Fool's guy. Because it's obviously, we all know they're all jokes now. And you're going through Instagram and Facebook making all these comments yeah, you fooled some people. Congrats, but wow. And it's okay, man, just do a crying, laughing face and let's move on to next year.
Oh, boy. Oh,
that's awesome. Well,
I talked to...
No, go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say I talked to Thomas and just the other day, and he told me that he got you, which you hadn't told me at the time, and I just found out from Thomas the other day. But you just admitted that a minute ago. I had a little bit of fire to come back at you with to defend myself and say like, well, oh yeah, because when I see
Yeah,
the screenshot on Instagram and somebody's posting something, they're posting pictures of their rating.
of course.
Your career earnings were like 1.2 million, which I didn't even see. I looked right past that. And
Yeah.
so I looked at the 1050 rating, and it was just believable enough that it made me go crazy, because I feel like our games, although you're beating me right now more than I'm beating you, but our games are so similar. How could you possibly have me by 25 plus points? It drove me crazy. So the first thing I did is I went on Instagram, or not Instagram, but I went on to PDJ to see if my rating had changed, and it had
Yeah.
gone up a little bit, but it didn't spike up like 20 points or anything. So anyways, that was a good April Fool's joke. That was a good
Awesome.
one.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Thomas. It was fun.
Yeah. Good job, Thomas. Another
Well, so moving on, I appreciate you guys being with us, and it's nice to hear the update from everybody. We're all kind of dealing with things in our own way, but it sounds like everybody's making the best of it. And so moving into this next segment, if anybody you remember from SHOWMEZ, the first episode that was pre-recorded back at the memorial, you guys finished up with a call to action to have some people send in some clips. But I don't know,
yes.
Jeremy, you
Nice.
remember, I think it was you, or I don't know, both of you were very specific. Like, we don't want the good stuff. We don't
Not
want the
interested in
best, the
highlights.
best. Yeah, we don't want your bragging clips. We want the clips of you or your buddy just having just a horrible time, whether it's a rollaway or just all kinds of different fails. And we all know, pros and AMs alike have their fair share of fails. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Nice.
all
Okay,
right.
we got a little forehand.
Checking the grip, nice and long there. And thrower alert. That is an epic.
Oh,
throw
yeah.
alert.
I like how
Can
how it's like release and then 30 straight seconds of this.
yeah. Oh, there it is. Yeah, checking everything.
Wow, that is like a really like, okay, yeah, we got a forehand confirmed. Mission control, forehand confirmed. Here we go. I
You gotta
almost
keep-
think,
Oh,
based on this, I almost think there could be a creek over there. Like the way
There's-
he's like,
yeah.
oh my gosh.
There's true devastation in his eyes. I mean, the way that he hacked at that, I can't tell if is that a tomahawk or is that a roller? Or was that a sidearm? I can't even tell. Oh, and he's hit limbs.
Oh,
Oh no. Oh.
I think this hits a limb right away. Oh, the
Oh.
autograph Doombird.
Oh, and he hits the limb right off and then it had no chance. And then look at that.
this. You can't even really laugh at that. You can laugh at that later, but not right now. That's,
I can
like,
laugh at
if
that.
you were there, we can laugh. But the people that filmed that, he's
Yeah.
hurting. Wow.
Well, look where the basket is. That was actually right on line. I think it was actually a pretty nice looking shot. Just that limb right off the hand just smacked it right down in the water.
Okay.
Oh, come on. How can this be a? Oh boy.
Oh, it's windy.
Oh, it's not slowing down, folks. This is the speed
No
wall.
way.
This is what you get in the desert when you drop a disc down. It just rolls until it goes all the way to. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at this. He doesn't even. Hold on, Mike. Can you go back just a little bit? Stop it right at the pole if you can. Oh, he's already leaning towards the parking lot. He's ready to get in the car and drive off.
I think this is a falling putt into car. Like, if you try to make the call, you try to call him on falling putt, he's not hearing you. He's already gone. He's fall forward and take that momentum straight to the car.
One more slow rewind, if you will. Just one more quick. I want to see right when the putt comes out of the basket. I want to see his hand go down. This is when he says, "Shoot, dang." All right, wait for it, and shoot.
And he didn't see any of that roll away, which is good for
No.
him, honestly. Obviously, that's not the type of day you want to go play any disc golf. That's crazy wind.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
Oh my
All right,
gosh.
that was awesome.
That was a ton of fun. Now, Jerry, he spent probably, I don't even know how many hours sorting through. We had at least 50 people send in those clips from the first
That's
video.
awesome.
So that was awesome. So needless to say, there's plenty more where that came from. So if you want to, please send in your clips to SHOWMEZ at JomezPro.com. We certainly enjoy digging through them because it gives us a lot of laughs, and it definitely gives us a lot more to laugh at in future episodes. We appreciate everyone that's done it so far, and we look forward to seeing what you guys come up with next. All right, now moving on, we had some ideas about kind of digging into the JomezPro vault. And for those of you that know us, know that we started back in 2012, all the way back at Pro Worlds in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's been 8 years ago now, and there's a lot's happened since then. And sometimes it's easy to, the more rounds we film, the easier it is to kind of forget how far we really have come. And you guys have both been playing for well, beyond that amount of time, but I don't have a camera rolling from that far back necessarily, but we do have one from 2012. So we wanted to go ahead and kind of revisit from 8 years ago, from the final 9 of Pro Worlds in Charlotte, North Carolina. And so yeah, let's take a look.
All right.
Well, the first time we did this is when we did the 100K party, the shirt that you're wearing. And we got McBeth rocking the dynamic disc shirt back in the days before dynamic discs even made plastic. So this was back in the early days. This was the beginning of McBeast. And hole one.
That's 0-time world champion Paul McBeth. Not a lot of the viewers out there probably ever seen that guy before.
And that's 0-time world champion Ricky Wysocki. And what I love about this video already, right off the bat, we are at Ricky Wysocki versus Paul McBeth 1 and 2. And it's just a foreshadowing of the next decade, the next era of disc golf, just a battle between those two guys at the top of the ranks. And obviously Will Schuster right there. At this time, Will Schuster probably was the number 1 ranked player in the world. And if you know anything about local favorites, you got Michael Johansson, Charlotte, North Carolina. He's the king out here. And the crowd just absolutely loves watching him play.
Oh.
Yeah. And that was actually the first time Ricky Wysocki ever made a putt outside the circle, and he still hasn't missed one since. Schuster going into the final 9 in 3rd place. And this is the beginning of the final 9. We start on Charlotte's Web, old Charlotte's Web. The course has actually changed quite a bit, but Charlotte's Web, old hole 5. And this is the old hole 6 long. And this is a great hole with a road down the right side. And you just want to crush it straight, and that's his picture-perfect drive.
Yeah. And we're going to be jumping around a little bit. This is just kind of some highlights footage.
Yeah.
Germ's our tour guide, since this is, didn't you say this is probably the park you've played more than any other park, right?
Yeah, this is the course that I've put the most blood, sweat, and tears into. Just the love of the game really came from Hornets Nest Park. And you're going to see something really interesting here. Will just throws so much Anheuser, hits the road, but this is what always happens when you hit that road at that angle. It always turns on the angle, slides back in bounds, and you can see MJ acknowledge, yeah, I've seen that happen a couple times before. And this is already fast-forwarding to the next hole. Just the approach on what is traditionally hole 7 at Hornets Nest. And Ricky kind of showing off where a lot of good drives land, but a really tricky approach. But Ricky just showing that insanely good sidearm touch there. It's just beautiful. And this is the treacherous island hole. This is a really short hole. I think it's like 200 feet, and MJ hits the hay bales. You get 2 shots from the tee to get in bounds, and if you don't, you go to a drop zone that's about 28 to 30 feet away. And Ricky safely lands in bounds.
I have 2 things to say.
Okay.
Jonathan, I love the light balance. Second, I just want to get it out there. Jonathan was not here to film. He came to this tournament to play, and he's the only person filming this. And this is 2012 World Championships Final 9, McBeth's first World Championship. And that illustrates better than almost anything else you could say what's changed in our sport 2012 to 2020.
I mean, you don't have to be a professional camera guy to know to just keep the camera stable. Jesus, Jonathan, like, what are you doing?
He's excited.
Come on, man. It was my first time ever on the course.
I'm kidding. This is a hole that is no longer around anymore. This is the second to last hole of the final 9. Pretty tricky little low ceiling yet still uphill shot that has to travel pretty far left, right about 330 feet or so, I feel like, from memory. Really fun hole. When I first started playing, I didn't really throw many backhands. You really can't throw a sidearm on this one. So this was a hole that really challenged me from the beginning days in trying to be a little bit better at both forehand and backhand. And we saw a couple good drives there, but a lot of people well outside the circle, and MJ leaning his head over and dropping in the ringer from 40 feet, as he has done so many times before. And a nice putt from Will. This is 2012. This is right before the big announcement of Prodigy, which came out officially January 1st, 2013, which obviously Ricky was a part of, and Will, and was really the beginning of the next era of disc golf when professional disc golfers, started getting salaries, which was a really big moment in the sport of disc golf.
And this is the final hole, right?
Yeah, this is the final hole, and traditionally the hole is right at the end of the straightaway here, like kind of in between those trees and the softball field fence. And then for the World Championships, they decided to bring the basket around the corner, just make it a little bit trickier, put the basket on the side hill. And Will was the only player to try going the big Spikeheiser route, which is always impressive to watch.
And McBeth has like a comfortable lead here.
Yeah, it was almost impossible to catch him in the final 9. He would have really had to mess up, and Ricky would have had to play superb. Ricky is really great at final 9s, but, I mean, you're just not going to see a player like McBeth, who just was already cool, confident, and poised at this stage of his career, even though he wasn't a world champion.
Oh.
There you go. I don't know how he didn't hit that. That was pretty close to committing a pretty silly error there, but it's the last hole. He was guaranteed 4th place, so he's just having fun with the crowd. Having a little bit too much fun with the crowd now. And there you go. Ricky Wysocki still hasn't missed a jump putt.
Ricky probably 19 years old, maybe here, maybe less.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to see him with such a big smile on his face. Because not that. Okay, let me take this back. You don't traditionally see Ricky at this point be happy with 2nd place, even at the World Championships.
Sure.
You know, I mean, but this was the first time he had been at that stage, and that's the most emotion we've ever seen from Paul McBeth right there. Just the 2 hands in the air, and that's it.
That's what you'd expect. I mean, world champion. That's a pretty amazing moment. Who knew it was going to be 3 more in a row right after that?
Yeah, it was the beginning of an era.
It really was on a lot of fronts, players to media to just so many things that developed. Like you said, even the disc manufacturers. It's crazy. Only 8 years ago, how much has changed.
It's a different sport.
And folks, if you're enjoying this right now, we encourage you to please share this broadcast. We've still got a lot more to come. So be sure to get out there, share it on social media for us, #ShowMez. Jerem's got the product placement on the bottom of the water bottle. He's doing a really good job with that. And speaking of just coming out of that revisiting what we're calling the vault right now, we've got more of that to come too. If you ever go back, and I know a lot of you are probably rewatching a lot of disc golf coverage and a lot of different videos, and I mean, of course, we've got guys like Simon and Drew and just other people out there putting out some new content. But if you're out there digging in the old stuff, feel free to reach out to us and say, hey, I want to revisit this round or whatever, because even though we don't have a ton from back then, it is fun to go back and to watch all that. Because, I mean, Jerem, thank you so much for the tour guide. That was awesome.
My pleasure. It's so cool to see the World Championships come to Charlotte. That was the last combined Worlds. Over 1,000 players. That's the biggest World Championships ever, and things have changed quite a bit since then.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, now it is time to have a little fun with something that we also did on the first episode of SHOWMEZ. We played a little game. I don't know if you guys remember much about it, but we had a lot of good feedback of that. We asked people for, what else can we, give these guys for suggestions. and we got a lot of suggestions. We went through all the comments, and so without further ado, let's get into is it big or sexy?
All right, what's it gonna be? Oh, okay. Nate, you got anything to start off with here?
Big.
Yeah,
It's huge. Yeah, it's huge. That's a great bridge. I mean, I guess maybe. I mean, I like a bridge as much as the next guy, but I don't get a real sexy vibe from a bridge. But if any bridge was going to do it for me, it might be that one. It's one of the best I've seen.
It's probably, I would say it has to be the most famous bridge in the world besides, I don't know, maybe London Bridge because it's falling down. That's dumb. But I mean, Golden Gate Bridge is the quintessential symbol of any city. You know, you see a bridge that's shaped like the Golden Gate Bridge, you immediately know that's San Francisco. And it is almost a requirement to go check it out when you go visit California. I think I'm going to go sexy on this one. It's in every single selfie picture. I'm going
big.
sexy.
I got to go big.
Wow, the little swip swap there. Nice. Oh, God. Oh, man, these things are brush guards. I call these San Angelos.
Oh, man.
This is big. This is all. There's nothing sexy about this. This is all brute force and just. This is all about protecting your truck, man. That's big as it gets.
There's somebody who thinks that's sexy. It isn't me. It's big.
Man. Oh, Jonathan, you dog! I can't believe you put that in there. All right.
Okay.
Oh God, you're. Okay, well, obviously that is a lot of hair. That is a big bunch of hair. And James, he's a tall guy, but he ain't big. This guy, no. I've done his shirts for him, and he handed me one of his polo shirts, and I couldn't believe when I saw the size. He wears a small. He wears some mediums, but some smalls as well, and he's 6'4". This is a slender man. This is not a big man.
No.
That hair, when it's flowing and it's bouncing in the tee shot, or he's running in a 45-foot to 70-foot jump putt.
Yeah.
I'm going sexy with the hair, man. That's a sexy call.
For me, it's not that the hair is sexy. It's the confidence to flop it around like that. That's what that's what gets me going. That's where I'm going sexy. So I don't know if I'm voting purely on the hair, but I don't think I can even do that. I'm not going to separate those two things. That's sexy.
Sexy it is.
All right. Well, that was a lot of fun. Oh my God. I can't even. I lost my train of thought already. That was. Oh my goodness. This is.
Those are
guard, man.
Yeah,
we had a little joke going with that at the last Airbnb, so that got us going a little bit for Germ and I. We didn't see that coming.
Yeah,
well, here's the thing. Every single vehicle in San Angelo, and I'm just gonna make. Can I go ahead and throw in West Texas?
Absolutely,
Jonathan?
Absolutely.
Right.
Most of Texas, but
you
definitely
have a
West
line.
Texas.
You got a line right there in the middle of Texas. Anything west of the center, every car, and we're talking like Geo Metros, Toyota Camrys. We're talking about city buses. Everything's got a brush guard, and we call them brush guards. I don't know why. I think it's stupid. It's what do you call them down there? Grill guards?
A grill guard. We don't protect from brush. There's no brush.
You do. Okay, sagebrush. Tumbleweeds.
Yeah,
I don't need a giant steel thing strapped to the front of my truck for tumbleweeds. People around here need those for deer because deer are like everywhere on the roads, and that's why people have them, because otherwise.
That's because the deer are getting spooked by tumbleweeds.
I don't even know what to say anymore. Anyways,
brush guards.
Yep.
Definitely, folks, leave us some comments if you haven't already. Let us know what Nate and Germ should be voting on in future episodes, because we like to try to throw them curveballs. They don't really know what's coming. Obviously, you could tell with the whole grill guard, brush guard thing. Germ about lost it.
Yeah, I did.
But moving on, though, we wanted to give you guys a little bit of a a sneak peek of something else we've been working on. Like I said, we've been working on developing this live show, which I hope you're all enjoying right now. Speaking of, I'm going to ask you again, if you're watching this and you're enjoying it, please share this broadcast. We still have quite a bit more to share with you guys, so please share the broadcast and let people know that you're watching. This is our very first time going live, so we're open to any kind of feedback, but hopefully you guys are having fun so far. But like I said, we've been developing SHOWMEZ, and so it's just been us out here in West Texas with our brush guards, just not knowing what to do. Can't even get in the truck and hop on over to the pick and pack and pick up, a 6-pack of beer or something, And I can't play into that bit, I'm sorry. No, but we just been out here just having fun and staying safe. And obviously we can't go to these tournaments. We can't meet up with pros and come up with new content ideas. So it's just been me and Mike and Jerry out here. And thankfully, me and Jerry were able to put our heads together and come up with a new type of content that kind of combines two of our favorite passions. And so now we're going to give you guys a first look at our new piece of content coming out. We're going to do something that combines our two passions of fishing and disc golf.
Number 2, baby. Straight up out of the water, dude. Yeah. One just straight up swallowed the frogs.
Basically, this is a birdie or die course, but we're gonna have a lot of fun with it. Come on, get a hop.
I was
Nice.
agreeing with that. That was nice. I like that.
Yes.
Why is it called bass and birdies? I'm just kidding.
Nice.
Bass and birdies. Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Did you not see the hoggers they were pulling up?
Oh, those are
Hoggers?
lunkers. I'm pretty sure those are lunkers.
What's
Well,
a
one of them
hogger?
might have been, but whatever Jerry pulled out was a full-on hogger.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I don't even know what you're talking. If you know something about if hogger is a fishing term up in the Northwest where you're at, then it's news to me because we certainly don't call them hoggers.
Oh, those are definitely. I saw the first two catches were hoggers, and then they finished with a lunker there at the end.
Maybe
Those
maybe
are some good catches,
is
though.
maybe hogger is another term for a small fish, but
Nah.
no, but
We got it backwards.
Jerry and I.
I'm looking forward to that, though.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Jerry
You
and I
guys
had
coming
a-
out from
Oh,
behind
that's
the
cool.
camera.
Yeah, we had a ton of fun making that. We've always wanted to find a way to combine this, and of course, sitting at home and not being able to get out there and do our normal job, we were like trying to come up with some ideas, and thankfully, we were able to birth an idea like that, and we had a lot of fun with it. Surprisingly, when you go out to film a fishing video, that's the first time we've ever put out that kind of effort, but you don't think about the fact that you might go out there, you might spend the whole day trying to film this thing and not catch a single fish, and the whole thing just gets ruined, and then the whole day is just wasted. So that's kind of something that I never really thought about, but I certainly won't take for granted now, because when you go out to shoot a disc golf video, you know that you're going to go out there and people are going to play, people are going to win, people are going to lose, but at the end of the day, as a media professional, you're going to get a video out of it. And then you turn around and you try to do that with fishing, and you might not get any kind of good content out of that at all, and you might have to...
I mean, I know I don't have to tell you this, Jonathan, but you never know. You wake up any given day. Some days the hoggers are south of the Rio Grande, and sometimes they're north of the Rio Grande. Those things, they go where they want to go, and you just have to be lucky enough to, be in your boat at the right moment and have the right bait on and see if you can lug one out.
The Rio Grande is quite a ways from me, but I appreciate the attempt at the trying to put them close to. Texas is just one state. People don't even realize.
Some
Well,
people
you
don't
got
realize.
brush guard, and then you got barbecue. Those are the two sides of the states. But you can lump them
I
together.
think some
if you
people don't realize how quick a hogger can move when he's got a little motivation.
All right.
First off, I want to say, Jonathan, you should be listening to Nate. This guy knows what he's talking about when it comes to fishing. I mean, I don't think that.
Does he?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man. Okay, we're gonna move on. Well, as most of you know by now, not only is Nate Sexton just such a gifted commentator, an amazing father. I think he's won Father of the Year maybe every year since he's been a father, right? Is that true, Nate? You've pretty much gotten that award every year since you've been eligible.
I think a lot of us kind of share the award, but yeah, I'd like to think I got my hand on the trophy just for a moment there.
Well, I say that to say that basically you guys have already been exposed to some of the beautiful poetry that this man has been putting out. Okay, I mean, some of you have seen. I think it was sometime last year on Reddit. You posted your first iteration of the poem, right? Why Are Trees on Reddit?
Yeah, I mean, it was after playing at IDGC for the Hall of Fame Classic.
Mm-hmm.
I took like 30th place. I barely cashed, like every time I've ever played there. I was in a dark place. I was not being the professional I wanted to be.
Uh-huh.
So, I was scared, and I turned my thoughts inward, and I that came out of me. I don't know, a little poem. So that's kind of the headspace where this poem is coming from. It's a couple months old now, but we're going to show you this one because this quarantine allowed me to write the second one and actually, kind of answer that burning question: why, in fact, are trees?
Why are trees? If you ask me what are trees, I'll tell you right quick. Woody plants by the billions, some thin and some thick. How are trees, you'd retort, and I'd tell you a story of seeds, pollinators, and small starts that grew. Where are trees, you'd then query, that you can't prove. Go outside, there are trees, and if not, you should move. I sit back and recline, having answered each question, but a smirk starts to form as you look my direction. You open your mouth and you utter these words: why are trees? In an instant I'm changed, at a loss and befuddled. The picture I'd painted so clearly is muddled. Why is anything here? Why is anything not? How can I answer without weeks of thought? I must tell you I don't know as I fall to my knees. I'm haunted, I'm sleepless, I'm adrift on the seas. Reality drifts off and up, out and back. All logic is gone, and each night I'm attacked. I'm shaking, I'm shivering, I'm starting to freeze. The only thing left now is to scream. Why are trees?
I had not seen that put to music. I recorded it the other day because Jomez asked me to. Honestly, it's still kind of, I got sweaty palms, man. It kind of takes me back to that panicky feeling of like just playing terrible and not knowing what to do about it. And man, not a pleasant memory, but it lives on.
The thing is the way that you guys put that together, it really, like, I've understood that you have never really figured out, well, you hadn't figured out that age-old question, why are trees, for so long, and it really brought me back to that feeling that you had. And also it reminded me just the way that you guys beautifully put that together, like the intro for the USDGC last year. You didn't show us, you just surprised us with that. Mm-hmm. And then we had to start doing commentary, and Nate and I are both just like, oh, wait, hello and welcome, like, let's get into this. But, like, that was touching. I'm moved. I felt something. And that was a beautiful poem, Nate. Well
yeah, so now, I mean, the stage is set for, there's another part. There's a part 2. If anyone follows social media, and I know you posted on Reddit, I mean, there's a part 2. Like, what is going to happen now? Like, we're going to ask you to record part 2, which, I mean, kind of give us a little taste. What is part 2 about?
Part 2 is a lot more optimistic. I can tell you that. I mean, if part 1 left you kind of feeling lost, part 2 can hopefully lead you back where you were before, at least, or maybe a little bit to a more secure place than you've ever been. I know that it helped me there. So I think you had a lot of happy times to look forward to if you're tuning in for part 2.
Well, we're going to leave you on a cliffhanger until then, so stay tuned.
We certainly look forward to it. All right, now is the time of the show. The comments have just been pouring in since we started, so we appreciate everyone that's been here with us. And again, I'm going to ask if you're enjoying the feed, just please share this feed with people. This is our first time doing live, as you know, so we're having a great time. We're going to open up for questions now. We've already picked some questions to give to Nate and Germ, and we're going to go ahead and get into that. So let's see what we got coming up first. What do we got, Mike? Give us a really just a burning question. Oh man,
how are you doing, Nate?
There's so many. I'm sorry. There's literally so many questions we're having to sort through.
That's a good problem. That's a good
problem to have.
It's hard to find that doozy, that really tough question.
Yeah, for sure. Alex, while we're waiting for the question, we'll go ahead and ask people to go ahead and subscribe. Like I said, share the feed. Make sure that we're getting this out to as many people as possible. We certainly appreciate it. I think we're doing pretty good so far. I mean, how do you guys feel on the live feel so far?
This is fun.
It is.
I don't know. I hope people are enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I don't even know how many people are watching, but I mean, as long as a handful of people at least are getting enjoyment out of it, I mean, I'm having fun.
Yeah.
Well, I believe Mike Myers said, talking about improv comedy or just improv in general, that when it's going well, it's the best thing in the world, and then when it's not going well, it's one of the worst things you'll ever experience. And this is kind of like improvisation. We set this up. We put a lot of time. Specifically, you guys put a ton of time into this, and it's there's a lot that goes into it. But once it starts going, anything can happen. Fortunately, I've only heard the dogs bark once.
Yeah.
There haven't been any sirens too loud or noticeable that have come by. But, personally, this is great. I love this.
Sweet. All right, we have our first question came in. It came up. Let's see. What made Nate and Germ to become pro? So basically, how did you guys?
Who's Germ?
We can do some edits. This guy's typing quick. Hey man, let's not dive into the punctuation. I turned pro. I mean, the story of how I turned pro is just that I played amateur starting when I was 14 years old, and just kept getting better, just rising through the ranks, and won the junior world championship. Came fourth at the amateur world championship the following year, and then it was there was only one place left to go after that. So I was happy to do it. I mean, that's kind of when the game really turned for me and became the most fun thing I'd ever done, was when I went pro and kind of was able to drive myself around at age 19 or so, had a little truck and just playing and living free.
I didn't find the game until well after Nate had. Nate's a few months older than me, but we've been playing for, obviously most of our entire adult life. But I didn't pick up the sport until I turned 20 years old. And when I found the game, it was right in a very pivotal time in my life where I had just finished college, prematurely, I'll add. But I had some extra time on my hand, and I was kind of transitioning from being so just wrapped up in basketball and sport, and I didn't really have a place to play basketball anymore, and I didn't have any direction to go because I didn't have the motivation to play professionally. And so I was like, okay, something's got to happen. And I found disc golf just with some buddies from high school. And almost as soon as I found the game, I'd already decided that disc golf was going to be a part of me for the rest of my life. And I knew that as soon as I found out that there was a professional tour, that I was going to one day be on that tour. So for me, it was a pretty abrupt change. I went from being in college, playing basketball 5 to 7 days a week, to having all this free time. And disc golf, I was playing, 5 to 6 rounds a day for the first couple of years, when it was nice outside, obviously. And when it wasn't nice, I was still playing 1 or 2 rounds a day. I was absolutely hooked. And it was less than a year and a half after I started playing disc golf that I'd already won the Amateur World Championships. And, from there, you go pro. And that was back in 2008. And so I've been technically a pro for 12 years now.
Awesome. All right. So I can't decide how you say the username, but what shows/movies are you guys watching right now in your quarantines?
Well, I'll go ahead and start off. I just finished Netflix yesterday, so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow! Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
I've heard of people doing that, but
yeah.
I haven't met anybody that actually did it. Congrats.
Yep, I finished Netflix yesterday, and we're halfway through HBO. But yeah, I'll let you know when we're done with that. But everything, I mean, it's just been everything. I mean, I don't even know where to start.
So that means you've seen Tiger King.
We saw Tiger King before the memes. We were like,
oh my goodness.
We were like, what is? I knew who Joe Exotic was before the Netflix documentary came out, and I don't know where I saw it, but it was previewed somewhere. But I'd heard of the story beforehand, so when it came out, I was like, we were totally eager. And I don't know how we haven't seen it twice yet, but it was obviously it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's something that you just. I mean, I hate to just sit there and talk about something that everyone's talking about, but I'll just say there's a reason that everyone talks about it.
You have
to. I had no intention of watching
it.
it.
I haven't even seen an instant of it yet.
Oh, Carol Baskin, she's the worst, man. She is absolutely the worst.
The memes tell me so. We watched a show called Forever on Amazon Prime. That was just one season with Fred Armisen from Portlandia, and that was pretty cool. And it had Maya Rudolph as well. So we watched that. It was okay. And then we've been watching the third season of Ozark as well.
Ozark, I love that show. I mean, I don't know how, but I've only gotten through the first episode of season 3. But man, I'm just like, that show is insane. I mean, it's just funny to see a guy like Jason Bateman, who's started out like Arrested Development and all these comedies, and then it's like, hey, Jason, we have this script, and just so you know, nothing good ever happens to you. Sorry to.
Yeah, Jason Bateman, which kind of blew me away. He was the guy that said all the stupid leading comments on the ESPN Ocho in the movie Dodgeball.
Yeah.
And he says, "Let's see that again, Bob," or something like that.
Yeah,
and
that's a bold strategy.
And he was the doofus. Yeah, that's a bold strategy. Yes, that's a bold strategy, Cotton.
All right, one more question.
That was Jason Bateman.
Who has a better forehand? Man, Jason Adamski trying to start a war on here.
We've got different strengths, but overall, it's Germ.
Overall, you're just gonna give up like that?
I'm not giving up.
Well, here's the thing. We've talked about this many times. Nate and I have a very distinguished top 5 sidearm list, and Paul Ulibarri has failed, but tried over and over again to try to get into this top 5. It's not happening. But we have very strict guidelines for what makes an overall forehand, quality. And just like you can imagine how Paul McBeth has the angles, touch, distance, control, and all that, the forehand, it breaks down into the same categories. And Nate's forehand, he is definitely better than me in many things. He's got a power forehand into the headwinds that goes just as far as when it's calm. And I don't know how he does it, because he doesn't seem to throw that hard, but it goes. And I'm so impressed by it. And I would say his consistency over time is probably far superior to anyone that I've ever seen with a forehand. But I do things that I don't think Nate really can do, whereas I can kind of touch on some of the things that he's got the strengths in. So that's kind of the differential between the two of our forehands.
I love it.
I think Germ just asks his forehand to do more than I do ask mine to do, and he's successful doing that. So he's more versatile than I am.
That's a good way to put it. Well, I know I said one more, but now I mean one more. Thank you to Nicholas Vaughn for the super chat, $20 super chat, and he's got a question. How much do you enjoy playing with @ThomasGilbert and AJ Risley, who are in the chat right now?
Wow, that's like the two opposite ends of like who I like and who I don't like. Tom is fantastic to play with. AJ's nice enough guy, but holy cow. No, I love playing with both of them. I don't get to play with AJ that much. Thomas and I have been playing basically every practice round together these days, so that's always fun. Like before Vegas, which I ended up winning, he convinced me that I had zero chance because he's throwing it so much farther than me on every hole. And I think that's good for me because I go out there and play with Thomas. And I'm like, well, everybody gets old, It's been a good career. And then next thing I know, I win. So that's great. But yeah, I love both those guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that Nate nailed it on the head. Thomas is he's a kid who's only 20. I said kid. He's a young man who's only 20 years old, but he's definitely wise beyond his years as far as his mental, just the way that he can hang. He can hang with adults, and whereas I probably was annoying the crap out of my peers, as I still do now. But now Thomas is quite a joy to hang out with, and he's a lot of fun to play with as well. And AJ's great for me because he really keeps me I seem like the super serious professional when I'm around AJ. He can be so silly, and I like that because I can relate to that. So it's I kind of feel like I'm in the middle between Nate over here and AJ over here, and so it's nice to have a little bit of the silliness sometimes too. So yeah, they're both a bunch of fun.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate everyone that's just flooding the chat with questions. I wish we had time to get through more, but we certainly appreciate the engagement on here, and we'll do our best as we get new episodes to field even more questions. But thank you guys for your honesty. That's what I love about it. The forehand question, that was tough, man. And I just love how you guys the approach was awesome.
It's easy to...
So we are gonna have a little fun here. We want to give some stuff away, and I think the best way to do that is with a little trivia challenge here. And being as that the first episode, we're not gonna get too crazy difficult, too far just yet. But if anyone's been paying attention, they should. The last few years, they shouldn't have a problem with this one. We're gonna give away 2 BigSexy destroyers, the 2020 edition. If you haven't seen it, be sure to go to shop the JomezPro on our website and check that out. It's there on the screen. It's a little bitty thumbnail, but you know what it looks like by now. We're gonna give away a couple of those, and the question for today is: when was the very first time that the world was introduced to BigSexy commentary? We're going to take the 2 first correct answers. So sit on that for a second. I think you guys should remember, but I guess at the same time, you guys have done commentary together so many times now that I will say it was in 2017. So I'll give you a
I know
hint
what state
there.
it was in.
You know what state it was in.
I know what state it was in.
We're just kind of we're looking through the comments. We don't know for sure. We don't want to give away the answer just yet. I was hoping that we might have some people that are just crazy on the spot. We're looking for the specific event, the specific round even, because
Can I give them the month?
yeah, if you remember, I don't even remember what month it is.
Wow.
It was March. It was in March.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
I think we have one. I think we have one correct answer. We're looking for one more before we give it away because we want to give both these discs away. And
it feels like all of us have been working together so much longer than since 2017.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh, you just gave them the year too. So now it's
okay.
all about
I
who
think
can
we've
get
got
on my
'em.
YouTube channel. And we got 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we've got 2. So we're gonna go ahead and roll a clip to give away the answer. Here we go.
Hey everybody, Nate Sexton here along with Jeremy Colling. We got the BigSexy commentary team bringing you round 1, Nick Hyde from Jomez Productions.
This is going to be a lot of fun. This, of course, is one of my favorites down here in the Dallas area, and Matt Siri runs a great event, and so it's a place that we're all really excited to come out and play disc golf.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got hole 1. Got fence on the right is OB. There's a lot of rough on the left. It's only 306, but it plays a lot longer.
I'd say it feels like it plays like 380 almost.
I think so. I'm going pretty full sidearm myself.
I threw a sidearm myself, and I threw a flick roller accidentally. So not great, but this is the preferred play.
Yeah, this is Pablo with the FD3.
Is that a new nickname? I have not heard that.
You never heard Pablo?
No, it's new for me.
No, yeah.
Nice.
That is a trip, man. Wow.
27.
That was the first time I'd ever heard Pablo.
Before we talked about throwers, and the other thing that I'm struck by there, every time I hear that like a new commentary team get together, they're like, "Hey, like what should our name be? We were kind of thinking about this." That was our first time together. I just came right out and said Big Sexy Commentary. That's what we're called. And that's what you got. If you want to make it to the top, you tell them what you call.
That's awesome.
That's right.
Okay, who do we got? We have Tara Blair. That's not
Nice, Tara.
That's not the round we were looking for. But we didn't have anybody specifying rounds, so we just had to go with the first as close as we could.
You
guess.
scared me. I thought you were about to Wheel of Fortune them and be like, "Ooh, technically you don't win."
Wait. What round was it? Was it not the first round?
Yeah, it was.
I think it was first.
Yeah, I was just hoping that somebody would say round, but it's all good. 2017 Nick Hyde. I still remember that day very well. That was. Oh, there we go. There's our other winner, Tyler Nesky. Congratulations to Tara and Tyler. Be sure to send us an email over to SHOWMEZ@JomezPro.com, and we will get you set up with your 2020 Big Sexy Destroyers. But getting back to that, what's that?
Where did we record that? Take me back.
Okay, so we were in Rockwall, Texas. Germ says it was March. I'm pretty sure it was April. Because Nick Hyde is typically in April. I don't think it's early enough to be in March. But we were staying at
Are you sure?
Somebody will fact check that for us. 2017 Nick Hyde Memorial.
Where were we physically when we recorded it?
Okay,
I need to
we
get
were
in
at
that
an
space
Airbnb.
again.
It was Germ's Airbnb, and I don't know, who were you staying with?
Probably
Yuli
Paul,
or somebody.
Yulibari, Katrina Allen, maybe Drew Gibson was there. I don't know. It seems like that. I honestly don't remember where we recorded it though.
Oh, okay. So we were at an Airbnb.
We
were sitting there in the living room, and I remember we finally got it together because people have been asking for it. We had Nate on with Paul earlier that year when we first committed to the full-time tour. We were at the Memorial. We had Sexy Beast commentary, Paul McBeth and Nate Sexton, and then I had always wanted to get Germ looped into that because of just the relationship that we had with him, and we finally got you guys together. And I still remember we made like an Instagram post. We said something along the lines of like, "Oh, we tried our best to get them to Nate and Germ together for the first ever Big Sexy commentary, but we couldn't come to negotiations. The negotiations fell through. We couldn't agree on the terms." And it was a picture of like you helping Nate put his jacket on or something, and it was just a picture of like, and I said something about, "Oh, they walked out on the negotiations. Sorry guys." And I think I remember.
I remember that.
I remember the reason I remember that it was April because I'm pretty sure it was right at the beginning of April, like April Fools or whatever, and I said it was just some dumb April Fools joke or something. So it might have been right on the. Maybe we're both right, Jer. Maybe it was like March into April over that weekend or something. But anyways, good times.
Well, I mean, it's usually when we're down there because it's right around Glassbone Open and
the Texas Swing, Texas States, and whatever else.
Yeah, it's something that like Nate and I had wanted to do also. Like we, when Nate lived in North Carolina, we would drive to tournaments together. We would go up and down the East Coast a little bit. Not a ton of tournaments, but whenever we did get in the car, the radio was off. We never listened to music because we just naturally just held conversation for so long, and we could just talk about any subject and just rap for hours and hours. And so we knew that, if we got together on the mic and we kind of honed our craft with our love of the sport into doing some commentary, that it would just work out. And, that was the beginning of it all. It's pretty cool to see it.
It's been a beautiful ride, my friend.
It certainly has. And we appreciate you allowing us to be the vehicle for just releasing Big Sexy commentary into the world. We've had just countless little bits and skits, and just the people have just been so welcoming to the whole thing, and we're very honored to be a part of it for this long. And I don't know, we certainly don't have any intention of slowing down anytime soon. I mean, here we are doing our first ever live show just now, so who knows what'll come after this. So It's been
It
great.
almost feels like coronavirus is speeding us up.
Wait, how do you mean?
Yeah.
Like you're saying, we're not slowing down. Sure, we're not in the tournaments, but now all of a sudden we're breaking into new media. I mean, who knew?
Who knew? It's just, I don't know. This year is just, it's starting out so crazy, and who knows how we're gonna end up. But we're having a blast.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so it is time for the end of our broadcast to kind of wrap things up, and that means we are going to have a Grip 6 giveaway sponsored by Grip 6 Belt Company. Be sure to go over to grip6.com/JomezPro. We are very thankful to have Grip 6 still on board as things have gotten crazy and we haven't been able to do as many events as we had planned. They said, you know what, we're still going to, stick to the game plan and be giving away belts as often as you guys will be able to. So be sure to go to grip6.com/JomezPro, get entered in there on the website. And speaking of, I want to announce the winners from the first two events that we had. For Memorial, the winner of the first Grip 6 package was Kayla Berta from Attleboro, Massachusetts. So congratulations to Kayla. And also from Waco, we had Andrew Johnson from Germ's neck of the woods, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hey,
so maybe
send it to
Germ,
me. I'll just run up the street.
I was
and
gonna
give it
say
to him.
maybe Germ can just use some of the belts that he has there in his closet and just hand them over there to Andrew. Here we go.
Big thank you
my
to Grip
gosh.
6 too, though, because
Is that
I've
real?
never worked with a company that is so eager to give out their product. And they've supported us so huge.
What? You have a wardrobe for your belts?
Oh yeah,
Where did you get that?
custom
Well,
made.
I had it custom made because I was so proud of the Grip 6 partnership with disc golf that I wanted to get something made, and I had my buddy Dickie Brewer put together. He's a very skilled craftsman, and he put together a box, and it goes everywhere I go, and I love that thing.
And I have one too, so hey.
Oh yeah.
Those are sweet, man. I'm really
Yeah,
jealous.
it's
I
awesome.
didn't even know that you had that. Now I'm like, now I got to get in touch with him and see if I can't get get me one of those little wardrobes for my belts, man. That's sweet. Well, I don't know. How do you guys think this went? As we're wrapping this thing up, let's just get some final thoughts. I mean, I've had a blast. This has been so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully everyone out there has been enjoying it and wants to see more of this. We're certainly open to feedback because, as you know, this is our first go at this. I was super nervous when this thing started. I'm feeling a little bit better now as things have been going, but I don't know. I have to go back and watch this and see if you can't see the wheels turning in my brain. And Michael's over here to the side of me just going crazy. He's trying to pull these comments up. Thank you, everyone that's been on here, just blowing up the chat. It's just been so much fun. I mean, I like I said again, hats off to Johnny V, Terry Miller, guys like that are doing live every week. I can't imagine this gets easier. I mean, I guess it does because you just start to become second nature, but like it's crazy like how live is just like you don't get any second chances. Like we're used to like, post-production and something goes wrong in the render and we send it to you guys for commentary and then it's like, oh, let's fix that, whatever, but we don't get that anymore. So I don't know.
I had fun. I hope everyone else had fun. I mean, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for interacting with us. If you can keep doing that, that's great because we're going to try to keep thinking of ways to loop the fans in. And we're going to try to bring these to you as often as we can. Aren't we kind of going to get ambitious and try for a little bit of a weekly show?
Yeah.
Are we still thinking that?
That is exactly what we're hoping to do. We're going to definitely take a second to read through all the feedback that we're getting from this and see how we can improve this. Thank you for everyone that's been on here and bear with us this entire time and didn't just say like, oh, these guys are doing live and they're not no good at it, whatever. I feel like it's gone pretty well. I don't know what grade I would give it, but that's all right. I'm really happy with it. I'm excited for this to be the first instance of this and for us to keep going, like you said, weekly. What other kind of content we're going to come up with? It's safe to say that, like Nate said, the coronavirus in some ways is speeding things up with people's creativity. And, we've seen all kinds of the putting challenges that come up and the vlog content and stuff like I guarantee you 100%, we would have never come up with a live broadcast idea if we were out there on the road doing our thing.
Yeah.
And
Well, I think let's go through the comments. As long as nobody said anything bad, let's do this again.
it sounds good to me.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, as we wrap up our last 30 seconds, we want to send a huge thank you to our Patreon supporters. The Founders Club, this huge list of people rolling by. Without them, especially right now, we would not be able to do what we're doing. So thank you everyone out there for watching. Thank you for tuning in. We will be back next week. Stay safe out there, folks.
Peace out, y'all.